he's not going to be like in-game ready shape. I mean, I thought he played well. I thought the offensive line in the first half did a good job in pass protection. Other than a drop pass by Allen Lazard to start the game and a fumble by Breece Hall in the next series, they kind of settled it down, and you saw what Aaron Rodgers can really be and what I think he's going to be this season. I think, that's the positive sign of it. The back shoulder throw to Garrett Wilson, the touchdown pass to Lazard with Leonard Floyd jumping off sides. These are all the things that Aaron Rodgers brings to your team. So that's the silver lining in all of this. The really thing that you got to be worried about is that defense, as you said. There was virtually no pass rush when the game mattered. And quite frankly, they're not a blitzing team. They don't like to do that. And it's going to be interesting to see what the injured list looks like coming out of this game, because this game was nasty. It was physical. They're all nasty and they're all physical, but some a little bit more than others. And you got to button your chin strap when you're going against Fred Warner and company on defense. And when you're going against a guy like Mason, who is a one-step down the hill runner, and he just runs like looking for contact. So it was a really, really physical game. A lot of odd things happened in this game, and one of the more unique situations was what happened with Sauce Gardner, and why was he off the field for the extended amount of time? I thought maybe because he hurt his shoulder trying to make a tackle. I think it was on Deebo Samuel. And all of a sudden, we didn't see him back on the field again. And I don't know if that necessarily was the case. They said he wasn't injured on ESPN. Most of the things that I've read this morning said he's not injured. There may have been a stinger or some sort of situation with his shoulder. That's the only reason why I would think that he would be off the field. If there is another reason that he's off the field, like fatigue or something like that, then to me, or whatever. I don't know why. I have no idea why they would take him off the field. So that is a huge question that needs to be answered. Maybe it was late last night. I didn't see anything this morning in regards to that. None of the sites that I read or, had an answer.
All right, here we go. Jets' Robert Salah explains Sauce Gardner's mysterious absence in second quarter of loss to 49ers. It's an NJ.com paywall. So I guess the mystery remains a mystery because I'm not going to be able to read
somebody
that.
else has got to have it somewhere.
Well, I'm going to look. I'm going to look for that.
I just didn't see it anywhere, and so that makes me think that and C.J. Mosley got dinged up a little bit, as he was trying to make a tackle, and he had a big old offensive lineman on top of him, and they smashed to the ground, and hopefully his wrist is okay. But it'd be interesting to see what the injury list looks like. It reminded me of what the Rams stepped into against the Lions. I mean, that game was really nasty as well. The Rams kept it close, obviously, won it to overtime. But last night, you could see the difference between one of the top two teams in the NFL, without Christian McCaffrey, by the way, against a team that's still trying to find itself and who they are. Now, they go from Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan to Will Levis and Bill Callahan. Or Brian Callahan, I should say, Bill Callahan's son. So I'm just telling you, they go down to a significant level of competition this coming week when they go to Tennessee.
Yeah, so that's what we had looked at with the schedule. Things get much easier for them on paper. We expect them to win a bunch of games coming up. I needed to see more from this team last night to really get excited, but really, I mean, if they go and rattle off 3 or 4 wins in a row here, we're not going to be thinking about this first game against the 49ers for very long. All right, so Rich Cimini, of course, was searching into this whole Sauce Gardner thing last night. So
that's what he should be doing.
Yeah, no, of course.
I mean, what else is he doing?
Well, I'm just saying, I was giving him credit in that way. I was just saying that Rich Cimini was doing his job. That's all.
He was doing his job.
That's all I was doing.
You don't get credit for doing your job. Just do your job.
So Sauce Gardner was just trying to catch his breath on those 9 plays he missed per Salah.
Catch his breath?
That's what Salah said. He's trying to catch his breath.
What do you mean? He's supposed to be the best defensive back in the league. You're catching your breath. You're not playing at 7,000 feet. You're not in Mile High Stadium.
According to ESPN NFL reporter Rich Cimini on X, Sauce Gardner was just, quote, trying to catch his breath on those 9 plays he missed.
Catch his breath, meaning that there was something significantly wrong with him. He's hyperventilating, or his blood pressure was up. I could understand all of those things, but this guy has been practicing and been waiting for was anybody else catching their breath?
Doesn't sound like it, no.
So I'm just wondering if this is a physical ailment, or was it Or is it just the guy that's not in shape, which I can't believe.
Or he got benched for some other reason for 9 plays. Calm down.
It was bizarre. I actually thought he had made a tackle.
Yeah, you thought something had gone.
And I saw where he got up, and it looked like he was, messing with his right shoulder. I'm like, all right, maybe it's a minor, maybe it's a minor separation. Maybe it's God forbid, it's a pectoral muscle pull or rip or tear or something. But I didn't understand that.
And Sauce Gardner on why he left the game. It was a tackle I made. I just had to get my wind back. When I felt like I was good, I went back on the field. It wasn't anything other than that.
All right, so that was the tackle. So it was that tackle, and he had the wind knocked out of him.
All right, yeah, apparently. That's what they're saying.
So all right, I can understand that.
Yeah, hopefully that's all it is.
I mean, you've ever had the wind knocked out of you?
Yeah, I told you, by Kebra Johnson, the Oklahoma drill.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Do I remember that? It's a core memory for me.
Yeah, okay. So how long did it take you to get your faculties back?
I'd probably say about 30 seconds. You get up, you go... And then, all right, I'm back. Just about like that. Maybe a little longer.
Yeah, it could have been like one of those compression, concussion types of things with Sauce as well.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't think it's any sort of controversy.
Hey, it came from that tackle. Okay, then that's ultimately, the way ESPN reported it, it's not a health issue. It's not an injury. Well, yeah, it is.
Kinda, yes.
Yeah.
In between.
Yeah, some guys, it's like... guy gets hit pretty good like the first, second, third play of the game and doesn't come back in until the second quarter until he gets his faculties right.
Get your faculties back.
Yes.
I just had to get my faculties back. That's all.
That's what it sounds like.
That's all I was trying to do. He should have said that, Sauce Gardner. Guys, relax. I was just trying to get my faculties back. The momentum of a game truly is amazing when you think about like the Foxwoods Resort Casino turning point of the game. And there was a moment for me that I thought small play in the grand scheme of things, and a lot of things happened after this. But after the Jets score their touchdown, go down the field in impressive fashion, and they're up 7-3. The 49ers have the ball back, and it's a 3rd and 5.
Yep.
And Brock Purdy delivers, and I don't think it was Ayuk. It might have been. It definitely wasn't Debo. It wasn't Ayuk. Who was the other guy? The other
Jennings?
one. Yes, Jennings. I'm pretty sure it was Jennings converted on that 3rd and 5. I don't think that the Jets did anything after that.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and that's just a small play. Like, they convert, and then now the 49ers only kicked a field goal later in that drive, but it was that moment where it's like if the Jets could have gotten off the field then, after that touchdown drive, got the ball back, it'd be like, okay, now we're in a football game.
Hey, their defense started great.
Yeah, I know.
The defense started great, and they did a good job of holding them to a field goal after Breece Hall's fumble.
Yep.
And, you felt like it was going to be a really tight game, but then the second half started, and the 49ers just rolled right down the field.
Yeah.
And just steamrolled the defense. And the defense has got a lot of questions to answer, and there's no question that this defense, who's been singing their praises themselves many times over the last 6 weeks, just basically got their asses handed to them. So it's a little bit of, I would say, a wake-up call for them. It's not surprising because the 49ers are that good, and this is one of the best rosters in football, and they played like it yesterday, and they didn't even have Christian McCaffrey. I'm wondering if Kyle Shanahan thought on Friday, you know what? I don't really need Christian McCaffrey.
Well, did you see or hear the little bit of controversy there with Jordan Mason?
Yes.
So on the field, he is asked, and it's kind of it's tough because this is a young guy, he's an undrafted guy, and he's coming off this great game and thrust into the spotlight on Monday Night Football, and he's not really thinking about the rules of guys and the injury list and inactives and any of that stuff, and he gets asked on the field after the game, hey, when'd you find out about this? And he just answers honestly, Friday night. So then the second he says that, because nobody knew until about an hour before the game that Christian McCaffrey was not going to play, it wasn't even on the injury report, then that just blows up everywhere. Oh, here we go. The 49ers, they're misusing the injury report. They're being deceptive. And then Jordan Mason in the post game, when he's up at the podium, someone asked him the same question, and he's like, "Oh man," he's like, because you could tell
Yeah,
that
he got
someone,
mad. Yeah.
someone must have yelled at him.
Well, here's the deal. Like, the people that are really upset about this, it's not the Jets. It's not the NFL.
It's the fantasy football
It's the
people.
fantasy football people.
Right.
And fantasy football is a big reason for the explosion of eyeballs to all these games.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't be screwing with the fantasy football team. But I will say this. Kyle Shanahan does not care about your fantasy football team. I will tell you that.
I didn't think so.
Straight up.
I don't know. You talking to me? You're talking about just the.
I'm just in general, the fantasy football.
I was going to
world.
say, I know that.
I mean,
Trust me.
so all those people that had Christian McCaffrey in their lineup, hoping that they were going to win last night because he was going to be on the field doing what Jordan Mason was doing.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Right.
And so all those people are pissed off this morning, even more so. Because they probably lost their games because they didn't have their most important player playing because Kyle Shanahan didn't tell them that he wasn't playing until an hour before the game.
And what makes it worse is it's Monday night, so you can't make some sort of switch. It's the last game on the slate. There's nothing you can do. You're completely screwed.
So I would say that there's going to be a fine. There'll be a fine of some sort. The NFL will do something here.
But I could easily, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, do plausible deniability here and just go, yeah, I told Jordan on Friday that there was a chance because Christian wasn't getting there, but I didn't tell him he was starting. He just made a mistake when he said that.
Hey, Jordan, be ready just in case.
Yeah.
Be ready just in case. That kind of language.
He took that as, okay, I may have a chance to play. It was the first time.
Yeah, but the way Jordan answered it, I mean, he answered it honestly because, he is the quintessential meat grinder running back. The undrafted free agent that they were heralding last night that makes no money and gets his ass kicked.
Just going
long.
a million miles an hour.
Right. And how long do you think he's going to last in the NFL? I don't know. I don't know either. But, one thing I will say, at least he caught the ball well last night, which is something that he did work on. But it's amazing how they praise these guys, and they do the heavy lifting. And they're the ones that get the crap beat out of him. Do you think he's getting $1 million check this morning because of his performance last night?
No.
He's
not. But I mean, the issue is, you just said it, basically, these meat grinder running backs, there's a lot of them. And that's why the value of them is as low as it could be, because you feel like you can replace, especially on a team like the 49ers where there's 8 million weapons. You feel like you could take any guy who played college football that's in shape and has a little bit of speed and hand him the football, and he'll be pretty successful.
Yeah, would you want to tackle Deebo Samuel if you're a defensive back? I don't understand if you're a linebacker or a defensive lineman, it's one thing. But if you're a defensive back and, you weigh $185 or $190, do you want to go up there and tackle that guy with those thighs and that guy running through you?
No, of course not.
And I think that's how Sauce may have gotten hurt. But, they're a good team, and they got multi-dimensional players that really, truly are amazing. And they had some of the best players at their respective positions. That's why their salary cap is so out of whack, and that's why a guy like Jordan Mason has to play.
Yes.
Somebody like he and Brock Purdy are making no money. Everybody else is getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, I think the combined salaries of Brock Purdy and Jordan Mason don't even add up to $2 million.
Right, exactly.
Base salaries.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But Brock Purdy, you could see he's going to get a huge contract, man. I'll tell you, his contract is probably going to be, I'm going to guess right now.
You could take a guess?
Yeah. 5 years, 325 million.
Okay. You're on the record. 5 years, 325. When is he going to get that? At the end of the year?
Yeah, it'll be next year.
All right, at the end of the year.
As soon as he continues to play the way he's playing, they're going to have to pay him. And, I know Joe and Troy were talking about it last night. It is a luxury to have a guy that can play the position the way he plays it. The other thing about Aaron Rodgers, the way that he did play last night, for the most part, he stayed in that pocket. Couple times he tried to get out of the pocket, and the mobility is not what it used to be. We all know that. It wouldn't be anyway, even if he wasn't coming off an injury, because he's 40 years old. Like you were saying earlier this year, play the position like Tom Brady plays it. When he's in that pocket and he gets rid of that ball, man, that first drive was the third drive when they went down the field. I mean, that was vintage stuff. That was like pocket, ball out of hand, accurate throws. Perfect throws, perfect reading of the defense. And, that's what we want to see more of. And we will see more of that. And I thought the offensive line did an okay job of pass protection for the most part. And but you could see that the mobility is not what it used to be.
No, and it really, it would have been shocking if it was. I mean, if he looked like the way he did back in, 2019, 2020, when he won the MVP in 2020, I would have been shocked, especially at this age coming off the injury. But they can be lethal if they run the ball effectively and he stays in the pocket and is accurate with the way that he's been accurate, and him and Nate Hackett are on the same page like they used to be. We're going to see a lot of that drive that we saw, that touchdown drive, a lot of that.
But I'll tell you one thing, he doesn't have a lot of confidence in anybody else other than Garrett Wilson.
Well, he threw to Allen Lazard a ton yesterday.
Well, he threw the first pass and he dropped it, and that should have been a first down. It looked like he slipped coming out of his route. Ball was right there. Could have kept him moving. Could have gotten some momentum a little bit earlier than it took him to get that momentum. But, look, if they had Devontae Adams on this team, it'd be unbelievable.
You got to let that one go, man.
No,
I don't think it's happening.
I am not going to let that one go.
Well, you said it was going to happen before the season, and it hasn't happened.
Well,
trade deadline?
How many points did the Raiders score this week against the Chargers?
No, I don't know.
10.
Not a lot.
10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they stink, and we knew that. You know? Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, he
also
also play with. I guess he could play with Shedeur Sanders next year.
He also said that he's happy there, and anybody who says that he's not doesn't know him. So who knows? It'd be nice, but I've sort of given up hope with that one. Al this morning, he was talking about how hard it was for a guy in Garrett Wilson to have 11 catches for 60 yards. How difficult that was.
It's physical, Al.
Well,
you want more yards. You want more yards after the catch?
Well, the problem was that Al doesn't know how to read a box score correctly.
Oh, it wasn't even 11 60 catches, so 11 targets.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Confused me.
Yeah, Jerry's sitting there going, wait a second. Wasn't it 6?
It was funny because as soon as it came out of my mouth, I saw Jerry typing. I went, uh-oh.
Yes. I will say that this was the week of the running back, not the week of the quarterback, not the week of the 400-yard passers. You okay?
Sports Minute?
No.
Oh,
No.
that sounded like such a Sports Minute. It's the week of the running back. I'm Boomer Esiason. That's what I could have sworn that was going to be a Sports Minute. Man, I was smelling that one from a mile away like cookies in an oven.
What's that? I think 6 running backs over 100 yards.
Yeah. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
I want to say 1 passer over 300 yards.
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
Yeah. So
okay. Well, there you go.
I thought it was a passing league.